This evening, it is a pleasure to welcome the Honorable Eleanor Holmes Norton back to Antioch College. Eleanor, welcome home. She is a member of the U.S. House of Representatives from the District of Columbia. She's held this office since 1990. Before coming to Congress, she was a tenured professor of law at Georgetown University School of Law, and she retains her tenure by continuing to teach one course each year. Before being elected, she also served on the Rockefeller Foundation Board, the boards of 3 Fortune 500 companies, the Board of Governors of the D.C. Bar Association, and the boards of several civil rights and other national organizations. She's also been a senior fellow at the Urban Institute and assistant legal director of the ACLU. She was named by President Jimmy Carter as the first woman to chair the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. And before that, the first woman to chair the New York Commission on Human Rights. A third-generation Washingtonian, Eleanor graduated from the Bruce Monroe Elementary School, Banneker High School, Banneker Junior High, and Dunbar High School. She holds a bachelor's degree from Antioch College, of course, and a master's of law from Yale. Eleanor, we're grateful for your support, your commitment to Antioch, your service as an honorary trustee, and we're especially pleased that you could be here this evening in your busy schedule and taking a little time out, winning all those victories for humanity to be with us. Eleanor.
Thank you, Matthew. My goodness, thank you for that generous introduction. Before I open my mouth, may I offer my profound gratitude to the Antiochians who have gathered here this evening and are reviving Antioch College. Know what you expected to hear from me, but I do not come as a Washington insider, although with 20 years in the Congress, you might expect that. I'm not here to talk about what we are encountering in the college, in the Congress of the United States. I come here as a member of the class of 1960 Antioch College. This weekend's reunion of classes, including my own 50th, and as it would seem, of stray Antiochians, who have simply come back, is unique, like much we associate with Antioch. Reunions typically occur near commencement time. Leave it to Antioch to be different. Of course, though this is not a time of commencement for a new crop of graduates, it is a time of commencement for the college itself. A few years ago, when the college faced foreclosure, Antioch, without the usual commencement, seemed just too weird. We rallied, we fought back, we raised money, the college closed. Yet this weekend has not been a wake. It now seems clear that an organic process has been underway. As we struggle to maintain the Antioch we remembered, we failed to see that the college's own metabolic processes had taken hold and that the school was shedding its skin and demanding a new beginning. We saw Antioch as a beloved relative who could be saved if only we could find the best doctor and the right treatment. In our despair, we failed to see that unlike a relative for whom death is final, a great institution can, and in the case of Antioch, must be reborn, not simply maintained. What was worth preserving was not the institution we had attempted, but the set of ingredients that mix so comfortably together. They are difficult to describe, at least as difficult as it was to assemble them and allow them to free float within one institution. We do know this, that we identified with Antioch's profoundly intellectual impulses, and that the college's intellectual depth comfortably abided work and cooperative education as fully consistent with and indeed a part of the intellectual rigor of the place itself. We know that at Antioch, community assured shared responsibility for the daily life of the institution. We know that the college's creative impulses included an understanding of the difference between life-regenerating innovation and mere permissiveness. In our hubris, however, we believed that the remarkable characteristics that combined to become Antioch could be saved, whatever Antioch had in fact become. Today, chastened by the closing of the institution, we now have found our moorings. We remember that Antioch closed before in order to be reborn. We now pay attention to our own history that teaches that rebirth can produce a far better institution than the one we sought so mightily to preserve. Today, we have seized a magical moment of challenge, a virtual dare to do what Horace Mann and Arthur Morgan did before us. Of course, creating or recreating Antioch will seem daunting unless we somehow believe that it was easier for the founders and innovators that established Antioch College. Today, of course, the very idea of a college or a university increasingly has no fixed meaning. The largest university in this country is the University of Phoenix Online, with 165,000 students. In 1852, a college education was for the few, not the many. Yet Antioch was the first to offer equal education to women as well as to men. Today, though, women significantly outnumber men in colleges and universities. Antioch was among the first to welcome African Americans, but today, 13% of college students are black and 1/3 are students of color. There are not a great many firsts like these that could distinguish higher education institutions today. Many market educational innovation as part of their own institutions, and even the most traditional institutions often accommodate and welcome the counterculture onto campus. The pressure on higher education, no less than on Antioch, is to feel the need to develop that fine mix of judgment and instinct that understands the difference between the college's unique, self-generating traditions that must be preserved and its other parts that have lived past their prime and demand new growth. Many of us who are Antioch alumni believe that somehow what we treasured about education and about our college was self-sustaining, like children for whom death is incomprehensible. We believed that Antioch was immortal. Unlike in other institutions which have succeeded by wrapping themselves with alumni loyalty, Antioch's alumni sometimes failed to associate their own success with the college that had contributed more than its fair share. We loved the rhythm of the college, but too often failed to support it until it lost its beat. But there is joy in what lies ahead. We are surrounded by rebirth from the physical plant to the Antioch Review. We come to campus in search not of nostalgia, but of real and lasting memories. We have learned it is not enough to love Antioch. This weekend, we embrace the college that at a critical turning point in our lives, when we perhaps least deserved it, did not hesitate to embrace each of us. Thank you very much.